The tension is boiling over and the critics are sounding the alarm. First up, the creative team behind the hit show Mint is finally speaking out. The creator and star have just sat down to break down that absolutely shocking and brutal moment from episode 4, claiming it is both beautiful and true to life.
Your brand new iPhone deserves the best protection, and the iLune 3-pack screen protector plus 3-pack camera lens protector has you covered. Don't take risks with your iPhone. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Next, prepare yourself for a deep dive into the darkest corners of television. Richard Gadd is back, and he is steering away from his previous hits to bring us his intense new HBO drama, Half Man. This series is an uncompromising look at the lives of two men connected by a lifetime of trauma and secrets. The buzz surrounding Half Man is officially reaching a fever pitch. We are tracking the explosive debut of Richard Gadd as the troubled Reuben, alongside a powerhouse performance from Jamie Bell as his brother Niall. This show is already being called unbearably intense, taking viewers on a visceral journey through violence and complex masculine identity. Finally, the reviews for Half Man are officially in, and they are completely splitting the critics right down the middle. While some call it a masterpiece of modern television, others are struggling with its brutal honesty and dark themes. Love it or hate it, you have to see what everyone is talking about for yourself. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss a beat on the latest updates. Ever wonder what goes through the mind of a creator when they decide to pull the rug out from under their audience? We are diving deep into that jaw-dropping, brutal moment from episode 4 of Mint that has everyone talking. The creators and the star didn't hold back, sitting down to break down why this specific plot twist wasn't just for shock value. They honestly believe it's a beautiful, raw reflection of reality. It is that rare kind of storytelling that forces you to pause and question everything you thought you knew about the characters. This is the definition of high-stakes television, where the writers are willing to burn bridges to build a more authentic narrative. It makes you realize that sometimes, the most painful moments are the ones that anchor a show's legacy. If you are loving these deep-dive breakdowns, hit that subscribe button and join our community so you never miss an analysis. After all, the best stories aren't just the ones that entertain us. They are the ones that stay with us long after the credits roll. If you thought Baby Reindeer was an intense ride, you are not ready for where Richard Gadd is taking us next. Forget the comfort zone, because his new HBO drama, Half Man, is designed to be the kind of television that doesn't just ask for your attention, it demands your emotional endurance. Gadd is stepping back in front of and behind the camera, and he is digging deep into the wreckage of a lifelong bond between two men. The story spans decades, weaving back and forth between childhood and adulthood. It is not just a narrative structure, it is a tactical choice. By showing us the quiet, almost invisible cracks in their youth, Gadd forces us to understand exactly how the foundation of their adult lives turned into a minefield of trauma and control. What makes this project so raw is how Gadd writes. He doesn't hold your hand. There is no exposition dump here. You are dropped into the mess of it, forced to piece together the silence and the tension. And speaking of tension, the dynamic between Gadd's character, Reuben, and Jamie Bell's Niall is electric. Reuben is the chaotic, volatile storm, while Bell plays Niall with a controlled, simmering intensity that makes every frame feel like it is about to snap. They aren't playing characters. They are playing symptoms of a shared history they can't seem to escape. This show tackles the ugly sides of masculinity and emotional damage, but it doesn't preach. It shows. You'll find yourself watching for the things left unsaid, the long pauses, the shifting glances, and the moments where the past violently intrudes on the present. It is heavy, it is claustrophobic, and it is undeniably brilliant. Look, this isn't a show for a casual Friday night background watch. It's dense, it's confrontational, and it's going to stick to your ribs long after the credits roll. It's set to hit HBO on April 23, 2026. Will you be tuning in, or is the weight of this story a little too much to handle? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the series that define our culture. After all, sometimes the stories that are hardest to watch are the ones we need to see the most. Think you know what intense television looks like? After the earth-shattering success of Baby Reindeer, Richard Gadd is back, and he's trading the role of the victim for something far more terrifying. His new series, Half Man, has just landed with a 4-star rating, and trust me, it is not for the faint of heart. Imagine a wedding party, a beautiful Scottish farm, and an uninvited guest who radiates pure explosive rage. That is Reuben. From the very first frame, the tension is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Gadd, who created, wrote, and stars in the show, isn't just playing a character here. He's embodying a force of nature that feels like it could snap at any second. Unlike his autobiographical hit Baby Reindeer, Half Man takes us on a dark journey through the toxic, codependent relationship of two stepbrothers, the volatile Reuben and the deeply conflicted Niall, played with incredible depth by Jamie Bell. The show weaves a masterful web, moving between the present-day chaos of the wedding and flashbacks to the late 80s that explain how these two became locked in such a destructive dance. What makes this show stick with you isn't just the graphic, visceral violence. It's Gadd's uncompromising look at the crisis of masculine identity. He forces us to stare into the abyss of these men's emotional trauma without offering any easy exits. Whether it's the brilliant performances of the younger cast or the way the story refuses to soften the edges of Reuben's cruel behavior, you're constantly left questioning where the line is between victim and tormentor. Is the writing perhaps a little too neat in its psychological explanations? Maybe, but Gadd's voice is so singular, so jolting, that you simply cannot look away. It's a brave, uncomfortable exploration of how we construct our own identities when the models we're given are shattered beyond repair. Half Man is hitting screens this April, and it's destined to be the kind of show that dominates every dinner table conversation for weeks. So, are you ready to dive into the wreckage, or is this brand of intensity a little too close for comfort? Drop a comment below with your thoughts, and if you want to stay ahead of the curve on the best new TV, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Don't look away from the screen just yet. The darkest stories are often the ones that tell us the most about ourselves. Remember when Richard Gadd completely dominated the cultural conversation with Baby Reindeer? It was the kind of show that left us all reeling, racking up Emmys and Golden Globes in the process. Well, the bar was set impossibly high, and now the creator is back with his follow-up, Half Man. But here's the kicker, it is splitting the critics right down the middle. Starring Gadd alongside Jamie Bell, this series tracks two half-brothers through a volatile, toxic relationship that spans from childhood all the way to adulthood. It's an unflinching look at male rage and repression, but is it a masterpiece or just too much to handle? On one side of the fence, the praise is rapturous. Some critics are calling it the best show of 2026, hailing Gadd not just as a writer, but as a true artist. They argue that his willingness to pull his own viscera onto the page creates a raw, visceral experience that feels unmatched on television. Jamie Bell is being singled out for a career-best performance, with many saying his portrayal of the tortured Niall demands awards attention. However, the dissent is equally loud. Detractors argue that the show leans into a bleak fest of cartoonishly violent, misanthropic tropes. Some found the dialogue overwritten, more suited to a stage play than a screen, and felt that the constant barrage of sex and violence didn't offer enough narrative payoff to justify the misery. One critic even noted that by the end, these half-men add up to even less than the sum of their parts. It sounds like Half Man is exactly the kind of show you'll either be obsessed with or desperate to switch off. It asks the uncomfortable question, how much pain are we willing to watch before the narrative resonance just doesn't feel worth the cost? Whether it's a brilliant examination of brotherhood or an overwrought, dark experiment, you'll have to decide for yourself. The series is streaming now on BBC iPlayer. Have you checked it out yet, or are you waiting for the hype to die down? Drop a comment below and let me know if you think Gadd has done it again or if he's missed the mark. Sometimes, the most divisive art is the kind we remember the longest.